Oh, Bloodborne. There are so many ways I can describe what was like playing this game, or what is, actually. As of making this video, I have not yet beat the game. I was just so enthralled, so hypnotized by everything. You see, I got this PlayStation 4 on my birthday, right? And I figured, why not get Bloodborne? I became a huge From Software fan ever since I played Elden Ring. Now, my actual first game from Software was Sekiro, but it didn't really get me much into the brand, but it's still a good game though. I decided to get two games, Dark Souls Remastered, which I played a little bit of, but then I got Bloodborne, and here's where things went crazy. The beginning of the game wasn't really all that interesting. At first, I thought it was a pretty average experience, but then I went deeper. I went to the Hunter's Nightmare after dying to the wolf, got my weapon. I chose the threaded cane because obviously why would I choose that hideous saw blade thing? Man, that thing was ugly. Oh boy, people are gonna hate me in the comment section, but the truth hurts, I know. I proceeded to progress through the game normally, and as I started exploring, killing some enemies, my interest grew further and further. I realized I was loving this game. The combat, even though it's very similar to pretty much every other Souls-like, it's satisfying in a way. The trick weapon mechanic is so simple, yet it adds a lot, at least in my opinion. I do have a knack for getting lost, just like in the beginning where I couldn't find the Cleric Beast, which I knew was the first boss because I watched my favorite streamer play it years ago. Plus, I wasn't using any guides, I was trying to go as blind as possible. Eventually, I had to give up on this idea, cause turns out I lost a bunch of NPCs because I didn't send them to the Cathedral Ward. Basically, I didn't talk them to a second time after I found the Cathedral and beat a few bosses on that area. It sucks. Yeah, I lost Eileen the Crow too, she seemed like a pretty cool NPC. But unfortunately, it is what it is. So I decided to explore as much as I could. I'm a guy who, whenever he enjoys a game, I try to do as close to 100% as possible. That's why it took me so long to finish Elden Ring. I would say I did maybe 85 to 90%, and Bloodborne's no different. I'm not done with the game yet, but the Hunter's Ring is already on fire, but I am purposely not fighting Germa yet because I gotta beat the Hunter's Nightmare. I gotta find Upper Cathedral Ward, the key to that place. Honestly, I think Elden Ring has ruined my image for how long From Software games are, because as soon as I saw that place on fire, I talked to the doll and she said, German awaits you. And I got so sad. This is such a good game. And maybe I rushed through it, I don't know, I try to be as cautious as possible, trying to find every nook and cranny, every corner, and yet it just feels so fast, It took me like 2 weeks to finish this too. Well, not finished, like I said, I'm not at the end, but well, I do have the Hunter's Nightmare still, and from what people have been telling me, it's pretty big. And I'm at Ludwig currently. I'm stuck at him. He's his first phase, man. Fuck his first phase. But thankfully that serves as a learning experience. I know that I have a few more bosses to beat. Secondary, obviously, such as the ones from the DLC and another one from the Upper Cathedral Ward. I'm trying not to get too many spoilers. But honestly, this game is easier than Elden Ring, in my opinion. So here's the problem, right? Elden Ring had all these delayed attacks, like 2 or 3 seconds they would hold their weapons up, and you normally on these games you're trained to react on instinct, basically on a whim. But then From Software games force you to wait. I think that's a lot of artificial difficulty. Delayed attacks were a horrible design choice. In my opinion, if they wanted to make it more challenging to require more skill, I would say just reduce the invulnerability frames when you're rolling. Maybe make the same amount as Dark Souls 1. I think 1 has less than Elden Ring, right? Let me know if I'm wrong or not in the comment section. Speaking of, bosses and whatnot, I like, well, I would say half of the bosses in this game are good, and half is not. As much as it pains me to say it, I only really had fun with most of them, maybe. My most frustrating experience was with Rom. She is not necessarily difficult, it's more of an annoying gimmick where she's gonna be surrounded by those fucking spiders. I kid you not, I have died to her the most so far. Ludwig is probably going to beat that number, but so far she's the winner. And it's not because she's actually difficult. I'm sorry, that's no way to make a boss. It's funny because in the Bloodborne subreddit, they said if you find Rom annoying, just wait until Mikolash. I beat him on my first try. Well, I suppose they were running around. Honestly, running around wasn't really all that annoying. He does have the like 2 mobs that spawn with him in the arena, but after I fought Rom, that was like a piece of cake. Technically speaking, I beat him on a first try. But also no. Here's the thing, I died because I saw a lantern, right? And I thought, wow, I'm in the middle of a boss fight. What's a lantern doing here yet? I ran to the lantern and fell because the bridge hadn't been like activated. So I didn't actually die to the boss, I died to the fall. Honestly, I don't really count it. So technically first try, technically not. Anyway. The game did start off with very strong bosses. There's the Cleric Beast, which fits the initial tone of the game. You're a hunter out here to just hunt beasts. Then Father Gascoigne. Oh, Gascoigne. I always say Gascoigne, I've been saying for years, so I'm gonna call him Gascoigne. I know it's wrong, I'm sorry. With him, things get a bit weirder. Well, as you fight him, as you all know, he slowly starts talking about the blood, how he's getting sick for it, and eventually he turns into a werewolf, which is basically the beast scourge, where people turn into beasts, which we find out later that beasts were humans. I'm not sure if it's all of them or most of them. There's even a beggar, suspicious beggar, that actually is a hidden beast. If you fight him, he's pretty strong actually, but basically don't send him to the cathedral. Just send him to either the clinic or just kill him there if you're skilled enough. I also really enjoy Vicar Amelia. She seems to be resisting the plague, but obviously succumbs to it. Just goes to show that this is an inevitable fate. I didn't bother looking up too much on Shadows of Yharnam, Rom, or Mikolash. I know I am trying not to look up any lore guides yet, because I want to try and understand it on my own. But I have the Shadows of Yharnam just felt like an unnecessary fight to me. In fact, they become normal enemies later on. I'm not sure if they have the same health, but I killed them pretty easily. The boss fight did actually take me about 4 tries, but it's because I'm getting mobbed, which is really annoying in any game. In summary, bosses are mostly easy. I would say the average was 3 tries because I beat 2 or 3 of them with 1 try, 3 more with 2 tries. Father Gascoigne and Shadows of Yharnam took me 4 tries. Rom took me about 10 or 12. And Ludwig, I haven't beaten him yet. I know I still gotta get through Lady Maria and Lawrence and Orphan of Cos. People are hyping up those fights, so they better be hard. Oh, Ludwig is certainly making up for his name. Not sure about the others yet. As for the regular enemies, I love their designs. Every single one of them fits the game, fits the lore. Especially the ones that have this eldritch look to them. After all, as you know, once you progress through the game, you find out there's a lot more to this story than just beasts. A lot more. And the grey ones always had an interesting lore, especially because this game is so heavily inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft and his eldritch creatures, you know, Cthulhu and all that. Once I'm done with the game, I'm going to research more about the lore. Again, I'm trying to understand, you know, a bit on my own first, and I'm going to look it up, see what I got wrong and what I got right. Of course, I got some spoilers from years ago, but thankfully I don't remember everything, so some of it does feel new. There are some enemies, of course, that are really fucking annoying. Honestly, I think I die more to regular enemies than actual bosses. Then again, this might be the average soul experience anyway. Overall, this game is fucking amazing. I have never been so addicted to something ever since, say, Monster Hunter or Devil May Cry. Bloodborne has been with me for just a few days and less than 30 hours, and it's already, I would say, top 3 best games that I have ever played in my life. From so far, I don't think the ranking is gonna change, but so far I give it a 9.4 out of 10. I will never give a game a 10 out of 10 because no game is perfect, but man, this game comes close. Very, very fucking close. I know there's the issues of 30 frames per second. A few years ago I didn't really care about frames per second, but now I definitely notice. I'm a much more experienced gamer, and I can see why it bothers some people. It sucks, but I don't think I don't think From Software can do anything about it, since Sony has a lot of involvement in this. I'm not even sure if there will be a sequel. I hope there is, or at least a remake with proper frame rates. Not that 30 FPS is bad, but for a game like this, you know, maybe a patch or something, I don't know. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say for now. I will make another video about Bloodborne once I'm done with the game. A much more detailed video. This was my first video essay, I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to give me some feedback on the comment section and what kind of content would you want to see in the channel. I will be posting more Elden Ring, Dark Souls Remastered and Bloodborne videos soon. I would also like to thank everyone who has been subscribing. You know, I went from 74 to 82 in less than 2 days, 3 days, I'm not sure. But I really appreciate the support, you know. Every day I get closer to my dream, and you guys are really helping me. If you're not subscribed yet, consider checking out the channel. If the content interests you, consider subscribing. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more.